That's funny. You probably would have though. So you get 5-mana rotation. Let me find something more remote. I don't trust this. Alright, so let me set up this story for you guys. So, I used to be a businessman. I'm not anymore. I used to be. And it was crazy. It's good times. Dropped out of college. Learned how to sell things. All sorts of fun stuff. And I got really good at it. I was the worst salesman in the company for months. Maybe even longer than months. I was the youngest. I was the worst. All sorts of stuff. Had plenty of issues to get past. But eventually, I practiced the sales techniques over and over and over again, long enough to not only get really good, but actually start setting some records. And when I started setting some records, I ended up being in the position where the president of the company wanted me to teach my managers, which was obviously an honor. So I did that, and then they needed to work for me to learn what I was doing, which was only what I was taught, really. But I just worked harder at it than anybody else. Like, within 6 months, I spent literally over 700 hours, not paid time, on my own time, working to master my profession. And it paid off, big time. So, eventually they started working for me, and I set the world record. I mean, I say world record, it was like in a company. I set the company record on sales, and I actually broke it later, and I just kept doing it. It was really crazy. So at that point, I was given my own sales team, and so I traveled the country and I set up kiosks in malls, and we did retail sales and a bunch of good stuff like that. And so I was slugging away some money. I'm not gonna be able to get a route right now. I'll just tell you this story, you guys. Yeah, let's tell you this. Let's see, what can I do AFK while I do this? Process some potatoes. Yeah, this is a long and intricate story. It's pretty nuts. Alright, and also, so you're clever with numbers and statistics? Not really. This is only, like, I haven't even started telling you a story. This is, like, just my life, right? Yeah, so I started slugging away money, and I was saving money, and it was a lot of money. And I wanted to know how to invest this. So, this is around 2000... I already owned my own house in New Jersey. So this is around 2010, I think. Around then. I was 23 years old, and I ended up spending thousands of dollars to learn how to invest in real estate. If you want to fast forward 7 years from that, I just had my New Jersey house get foreclosed on. Okay, so there's ups and there's downs, you guys, so don't think of this as like an endless bragging story or whatever. I've done some really cool things, I've had some really painful failures, right? So it's not supposed to just be like me just talking myself up. It's definitely, it's been bad recently. But either way, so at this point, I was slugging away some money, and I get this real estate course, and I just tell myself, I'm like, if anybody can do something, you know, if he can do this, I can do this. I can do this, I can learn his system. And he wasn't selling it to scam me, he was selling it to teach other people how to do it. And I know that he eventually wanted to have, like a, not an international, but he wanted to have a national, what was it? One of those infomercials and stuff, and have his case studies. And I was thinking, how cool would it be if I could actually be so successful in real estate that I could be on his commercial? Like, that'd be awesome. So I was like, I will do whatever this guy says, learn all this real estate, and really work really as hard as I can. So what happens is, I do that. I already have the money saved and things, and I work with these real stores, and I read the books that he's talking about, and I study his program, I'm taking notes, and we're doing these conference calls, and I end up buying a triplex. And that's cool, you know, all that stuff. What the heck is happening? What is happening? That's not how this works! What are you doing? No! Oh my god. Look, it's trying to be a berserker. This Valkyrie hates itself so much. It's like, if only... Can I get a hand... I want a hand cannon. I don't want to be my class right now. Oh, that is weird. Alright, chill out, Valkyrie. You're stuck being a Valkyrie. That's all you can. What is this? Great. Alright, well... Why? What on earth are you guys? I got some weird stuff. It's gone. This is just how it goes now. Whatever. Wandering Rogues is great money, absolutely. So I buy this triplex, right? Has good cash flow, all this stuff. 6-7 months goes by, and I have more money, and I buy another house, and I get a duplex at this point. So I buy a triplex, and then later in 2011, 2011 I buy a triplex and I buy a duplex, and you know, this guy, great guy. He really did, you know, teach us well. He basically said, all right, so how has everybody done? You know, way long after the course, and he checked up on all of us, and he saw the stuff that I did, and he was writing a book, and that book is called Consumer Guide to Investment Real Estate, and he used several of his students as case studies, and so actually, I'm like 15 pages in this book on my life story, my success in real estate, and all this crazy stuff, and I was 23. I was like, this is way better than an infomercial. Holy crap, I'm actually in a book. And I was listening to Jim Rohn religiously at the time. Jim Rohn, motivational speaker, one of the foremost business philosophers of, you know, the last century. And he was talking about the Bible and how it's a great source of stories where you've got one side of stories on this side of the ledger, which is do what these people did. You know, they've lived a good life and all of that stuff. And don't do what these people did. These people messed up their life, they threw it all away. He's like, if you ever get it in somebody's book, make sure it's used as an example and not a warning. And, you know, I was just listening to that with Corrosion, we loved it. So it was like this really cool, I was on the top of the world, it felt like, right? So that was like my life 7 years ago. And like I said, in sales, I was making decent money. So years after that, he calls me up. He calls me up and he says, I know you're comfortable with where you're at. I know you have your real estate. I know you have your passive income, and I know I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. It was crazy. He's like, I know you're working all the time. He's like, but I have an opportunity for you to make $30,000 a month selling. Are you interested? He's like, well, yeah, that's pretty good. So, he's like, I've got this opportunity for you to make $30,000 a month, you know, do I want to do it? And I was extremely loyal to the company that I worked for. You know, I never considered hopping under, you know, I've been offered stuff from this guy before, but he hit 30,000. I was like, yeah, that's more than I'm making. That's pretty good. That's a nice salary. So I asked him, you know, what are we talking about? What's making $30,000? What's sales? And he says, well, you would be selling real estate courses to other people, and it's like the same kind of course that you bought for me, so you know it works. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. I believe in the course. I had to shell out $6,000 for this course, right? Yeah, you know, it was a bunch of CDs and some information you could probably get from a book, but you know, I was motivated and all that stuff, so I wanted to do it. So we were going to start selling these courses, and I would never sell anything that I don't believe in. You know, I have to absolutely, you know, you can't be a snake oil salesman and survive. You know, it'll destroy you, honestly. So I was like, all right, well, yeah, real estate course, that sounds good. I was like, this is what I need. I was like, I need to talk to the top salesman in this company. I'm like, who is making $30,000 a month? And they like listed these names, like, oh, there's, you know, all these people are making it. I was like, okay, you know, sure, get me in contact with them. And an hour later, he calls me back, and he doesn't just call me back with, and keep in mind, the guy doing this is the guy that had his own real estate course. He was the president of his company, and multimillionaire, very successful guy. He calls me back with the president of the other company. I really want to tell you guys what it is, but I don't think I should on the internet. I just don't think so. Because it ended up being a much less than reputable company, and that's what this story is about, right? How I saved all of this stuff. But either way, so we have the two CEOs now of these multi-million-dollar real estate companies. One of them was international, the other one was not local, but a national company. And we also have the top salesman. So we've got those 3 guys and me on this little conference call now. Atario, hey dude. We've been having a discussion on gear. I heard heavy head and armor beats boss gear since warrior needs DR. What is your take? My take is that gives you extra health. I think that's fine, that's good. No, it's not that company. So now I start asking direct, I need to know if I'm going to be doing something. So first thing I said was, give me the structure of the company. What kind of things are you talking about? Like, what kind of sales? Is this direct sales? Is this cold calling? Is this running seminars? What is this, the follow-up to lead generation? What are we doing? And so they say it's a 2-up. They say it's a 2-up program, and I've never heard of that. I didn't like it. I don't like the sounds of it. And level 18, you're very confused by the whole node system. Would you mind giving a quick explanation after the story? Of course. Yeah, no problem. Basically, you can type !node and see my node guide, but you just talk to node managers and invest your contribution in it, and you just send workers over there. It's about that simple. But yeah, we can go into it more a little bit later. So he said it's a 2-up, which they were trying to describe it to me, and they said, as you bring somebody into the company, whenever they make a sale, you make money. And I was like, why do I make money when they make money? He's like, yeah, and you would have 3 legs under you. And so they all make a sale, and then you get money. And if they bring people into the company, and they make a sale, you also get money. And it goes 2-up. I'm like, it's a multi-level marketing company. He's like, no, it's a 2-up company. I was like, nah, I don't like this at all. And so they basically were like, yeah, we want to have 50 grandfather levels. We're gonna start it off with 50 people. We talked about the ones that have the most initiative. You were the first on his list. We're calling you first. And it's $3,500 to get in, and then you can go from there. And I was like, hang on, CEOs of multi-million-dollar real estate companies and best salesmen. It's like, wait, you want me and your company, but you're gonna charge me money to be able to then work for myself, and then convince other people that it was a good idea because I was gullible enough to then say yes. I would then rationalize other people would do the same. I'm like, there is 0 chance of me helping you at all or doing any of this if I have to pay. Now there's legitimate upfront cost in buying things such as course materials, uniform, kiosk supplies. These are legitimate business costs. But to charge me the right for me to work for myself in this regard is not something I'm interested in. They weren't expecting that. And they're like, well, and they're going back and forth like, can we drop maybe we could drop it? Like, I could see we could maybe drop, if you're the first one in, I could see, we wouldn't necessarily have to charge the fee for you to come in. And it was like nothing. They had nothing after that. Their whole thing was, we have a company. You could make money. Pay us first. And that didn't work, right? So I said, again, if there's a price tag for me to join you, I won't. And so they basically got to the point where they're like, okay, you don't have to do this. Now keep in mind, this was the works of the second company. The first company was great. I already bought his real estate course. I already got the real estate. I was in his book. We were friends. Great guy. He knew my parents. Like, awesome dude. But he was led astray by this other entity and stuff. So I was like, tell me about your sales, right? Now, putting aside the fact that you're saying I can get money off of other people's sales, let's learn about the actual sales. Are we bringing value to the marketplace? Are we doing a good thing here? And so he was like, the best salesman was like, you know what? Yeah, pretty much it's all in person. You just have a meeting, and then that's fine. You just make the sale, and I'm getting about $30,000 a month right now. And here's what I'll do. He's like, I will put you up for a weekend, and you can see me do it. Because I was like, I need to be on the phone with you. I need to see a client taken from nothing to a closed sale. I need to know the profit margins on it. I need to know your conversion ratios. I need to know how much time it takes. And once I know if I already believe in the product, I have to believe in the business model, and I have to see your sales system before I can, like, I've got a great thing here. Like, I was fine, right? So they had to really have an amazing system for me to be interested. And like I said, I already turned him down on like 4 other businesses. He's been coming to me for years before that. And I was like, no, I've got my own business. I got my own stuff. So anyway, I offered this to him. I was like, you know, let's just talk about the sales. If you're actually making 30 grand a month and you're saying I'm going to be able to make 30 grand a month, I need to see your system. So this is when he invites me to his house. He's like, come down. He's like, I'll put you up for the weekend, and I will show you the whole thing. So I'm like, okay, let's do that. Now, I had a friend that was in the area, Rodney. He's been on stream a few times. Oh my god, I can't believe I haven't been asleep, you guys. It's 10 in the morning. He and I went to the gym more than 12 hours ago. Because 12 hours ago, I was node warring, and we scrambled back from the gym. I'm just on Dr. Pepper caffeine right now. Speaking of which, actually, I got this water here, too. So Rodney, you know Rodney, right? Anyway, he lived in the area at the time. He lived in the area, and I was like, okay, you know, that's kind of cool. Maybe I can meet up with him at the end of this. So I fly down to Sacramento? It's Sacramento. I fly down from New Jersey to Sacramento. And Corrosion, what's up, man? I'm telling the international real estate company story. Yeah, it's you know, one of the top 25 I got. Alright, so I get to the airport and I rent a car. Because I'm thinking, if I'm going to be meeting this guy, I don't know his character, I don't know him, I don't know anything about him. I don't want to be reliant on him for transportation if something goes wrong. I'm like, it isn't wise. So I go ahead and get my favorite rental car, Chrysler 300. Don't judge me. I like the Chrysler. It's nice. So I get a Chrysler, get my little Starbucks, as I like to get a green tea frappuccino, and I hit the road. And I've got like an hour to go to get to his house and everything. He was in Sacramento? It's probably Sacramento. Yeah. The guy moved to Scottsdale, Arizona later. Anyway, so Sacramento, right? Now here's where it gets fun, guys. That was all just prep. That was just the background. Now this is the essence of the story. Here's what happens. Basically, I'm driving and I see a gated community. A gated community, okay? So if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a huge fence around a bunch of super nice houses, and you have to pay to like live there. You have to pay to live there. They maintain your lawns a lot of times. They have really strict standards on all the stuff you can have in your properties and all of that. And they have generally very new houses and things like that. So I pull up to near his house, not all the way at his house, and I have his address, so I go to Zillow. I go to Zillow and I look up the real estate. So I look at the real estate, and yeah, I like the Chrysler. It's good times. And I find out when he bought the house, and he bought the house about 6 years before that, around there. And I see the price of the house, and I was able to tell what the sale price was whenever he bought it. And oh god, I think it was like 800,000 around that. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was around 800,000. So you know, I know mortgages. I was in real estate as well. So I then figured out what his mortgage was after, you know, a few years of paying off the mortgage, what his down payment had to be. Hey, Sunbai, what's up? And then I could tell how much of a mortgage he had on the house. And also I knew the current value of the house, which was much less. So right off the bat I understood he was upside down in his mortgage. He owed more on his house than it was worth. Just, you know, just something I wanted to know. Just, you know, I didn't know this guy. I was getting more information. So I drive up to the house, and the first thing I see is an open garage door and two BMWs. Two BMWs hanging out in the house, in the garage, right? In the open garage. No reason for the garage to be open. Two BMWs sitting right there. Now, before I actually get to the door, I stop and I think, and I know as a, I mean, this isn't exactly public speaking, but it's close enough, right? I know I'm fairly articulate with my words and all this good stuff, but at that point, I stopped and I refined my introduction to him. And I had 5 bullet points. I don't remember exactly what they were, but it was along the lines of, well, I'll tell you what they were in just a second. I go up to the door, I knock, he opens it, I shake his hand. Still shaking his hand, I said, "Hello!" You know, I introduced myself. I said, I'm here to, number 1, evaluate how legitimate this business is and if it brings value to the marketplace, if we're doing it justly. Number 2, see if it's a system that can be easily replicated in my situation. Number 3, making sure it's morally right and fair for everyone involved. And number 4, seeing if it is something that is good enough for me to give up what I currently have going on. See if it is right for me. It might not be. It might meet the other. And there was like a 5th thing too, and I can't remember. But basically, that was my first couple sentences. I think it was before he said anything else. But I'm shaking his hand and I'm telling him exactly why I'm here, because I wanted him to understand what I was doing, right? It was a very expensive flight. I only have so much time between work. I had to take off a weekend. I don't know how many thousands of dollars I missed to do this, but obviously it was worth exploring the opportunity. So he said, "It's okay. That's great. I am, I'm whoever I am or whatever. Come on in. We're gonna do all of that. Sure." This was a nice house. This was a very nice house. It was recently built. Like I said, it was like an $800,000 sale price or something at the time, and it was big. It was very big. Go in and just kind of like overarching, like think of new staccato design, I guess. Arches, had a little like spiral staircase going up, which was cool. It was one of those big, almost atrium entranceways. And to the right, I notice a gigantic check for $25,000. It's a gigantic check, and he has like one of those, I don't know, you know how you have trophy wives? It was like a trophy house, you guys. That's what this was. And he takes me in, you know, to this office and stuff. Let's like right off of the side, and he gets out a piece of paper. He's like, "Okay, so here's what I see. Here's what I see for you." And he starts drawing these lines. Now, keep in mind, I just want to see his sales process. I want to see the product. I want to evaluate it. I want to see that. And instead of any of that, he draws 3 lines. He's like, "Here you are, right here. This is real estate." He's like, "One of these legs is real estate." He's like, "Another one of these legs is the company that you currently are with right now. And this is ViSalus." I was like, This is what? What is this one over here? He's like, "This is ViSalus. Did you see I have a $25 check over there. Did you see the $25,000 check? That check was from ViSalus. It was from, but did you see the 2 BMWs? We have 2 BMWs. Those BMWs were from ViSalus. So yeah, I see you, real estate, doing your current thing, and ViSalus. That's pretty much, that's what I see. That's what I see you doing." I was like, "No. No? What? What do you... No." So, yeah, so when do you want to do the real estate sales? Right? He's like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna... Oh, you know, why don't we just get dinner? I'm gonna show you the house. Let's show you the house." It was like that. He's like, so we go up, he shows me his movie theater in his house. "Congratulations. Do you have any friends?" In the backyard, he has a mini golf course and a pool. He's got this huge living room and great kitchen, all the things that I didn't fly to California to see. Okay? I don't care. Right? So eventually, after like the tour of the house, he gets his wife and we go to dinner. I'm like, okay. Alright, yeah, I'm hungry, whatever. It's only an image alone, not sustenance. Yeah, Janice, right. Exactly. You gotta, you know, that's why you have to assess these kind of situations. So we go to dinner, and he asks me if I want to drive the BMW. I don't, right? We want to make this as less complicated as we can. I'm like, no, yeah, do your thing, whatever. And we go up, you know, what restaurant was it? It was a Longhorn, I think. It was a really nice steak place, basically. Yeah, selling those pipe dreams. Unfortunately for him, I already had many years in business and could see right through it. So we get to this restaurant, And we sit down and I'm thinking, great, we're gonna talk about business, the reason I flew here. And instead, here's what he does. He's like, alright, you see our waiter here? I'm gonna sell him. Just watch. I'm gonna sell him. Yeah, I'm just gonna show you how it's done right now. I'm gonna sell him. I'm like, oh, okay, our waiter, you're gonna, alright, yeah. What, you're gonna sell him a real estate package? Like, he's like, no, ViSalus. It's like, dude, what are you talking about with ViSalus? He's like, oh, it's this protein shake thing. It's the greatest thing. It's, you know, we're silver, gold, and elite, super levels with the BMW and all this stuff, and we've been doing it for 18 months, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, you're, alright, I'll watch, you know? And, at that point, I had already offered to buy dinner, right? I mean, keep in mind, I'm 25? 26? 25 or 26, I don't know. And, you know, he's in his late 40s and stuff. I offered to buy dinner. I'm doing okay. But he's the one that's supposedly making 30 grand a month that I'm here to, like, learn his master plan, right? So he immediately was like, alright, great. Yeah. And, they together rang up over $100, which is fine, I guess. But if I was in the situation of an older person teaching somebody just like in his mid-20s about business and he offers to pay, I wouldn't let him, first of all, if he flew down to see me, and then I wouldn't order $100 of random food. Just, I don't know, these little things just kind of, it's fine that he did it because I offered, right? But it just all seemed so weird. So our waiter comes back. Now he's a strong guy. It's not Viagra, dude. It's ViSalus. This is protein shakes. So like this waiter's like really strong, right? He's definitely cut. And here's what happens. This is so freaking. Oh, I hate this, man. This is so slimy. He tells this guy, he's like, hey, you know, you're doing a great job here. Are you interested in fitness? It's like, it looks like you work out. I run a fitness company and I'm looking for more managers. That's what this freaking guy said, man. That's what this guy said. He's selling milkshakes. He's selling milkshakes. Only by conning other people into selling milkshakes. It pissed me off so much. Just listening to this. I was so upset by this. And he's telling him that he has a fitness business and that he's going to make this guy a manager. And the guy was like, well, yeah. I mean, I'm a waiter and I'm trying to be a personal trainer and you have a fitness business? I mean, yeah, I'd love to talk about being a manager in that kind of company. And he was such a nice guy, man. Oh, God. And by the end of this dinner, they had already exchanged phone numbers and business cards. And this guy was so, like, ready to, I don't know, maybe be a manager of a fitness company like the guy said. Not convince his friends to sell other friends on one day buying a milkshake. And at the end of the dinner, the guy looks at me, he's like, that's how it's done. And I could not be more disgusted. I could not be more disgusted if, like, a sewage company just dropped all of their dumpsters on my head. It was horrible. Not only did nothing happen, but nothing happened about the wrong company. I'm not here for milkshakes, man. I'm here to learn about real estate. And you didn't sell him. You just said, do you want a job as a manager? And he said, sure, we'll talk. And I'm just sitting there biting my tongue like, oh, this guy. There better be some amazing real estate products here. Because this is such a waste of time, man. So we get back, you know, I had already been up since like 3 in the morning. And they were behind 3 hours from that. So this was now late at night. We're super tired. There's more stuff that happens, of course, right? Before I sleep, they've got a ViSalus conference call, right? And so we go back to the desk because I'm like, can you show me your real estate stuff now? You know, can you show me this? He's like, you know what? Yes, but first, we've got this ViSalus pep talk meeting. Roar! Like, he's all about this crap. And he gets on this conference call, and it's nothing. It's nothing. It's a hyped up, excited lady being like, did you guys meet your goals last week? You can meet your goals this week. You can make your dreams come true. You can get your friends in here. Get your friends in here. Have you done all of your things? Have you followed our system? It was like that on the phone. And we're just listening on speaker. And I am just slumping back in my chair. Like, oh my god. I'm going to sleep after this nonsense. What is happening? I was so mad. I had to drop my last business partners because of some of the situation. Yeah, Janice, it's out there, dude. It's out there. But, you know, I could tell that you were a person of integrity. It's one of the reasons that, you know, I think we're such good friends, man. And it's just crazy. You guys, you can't get money with greed. Alright? It's going to kill everything involved. It'll dry everything up. You can't get it with laziness. You can't get it with entitlement complexes. You only get rich not by demand, but by labor. You get rich by labor, the correct labors, your own time, your own effort, in an educated manner that creates value. And that value is something that other people want and then gives you money, which is a store of value that they have earned with their own effort. And that way, the exchange between men is goods instead of suffering, and instead of burdens and entitlement things. And that is how you make money in the marketplace. So, this guy was telling me how he didn't want to work, and how he's like, yeah, why work really hard when you can just build your little thing and then they do it? And this was his, like, philosophy. And, you know, I attacked. Everything else I left alone. That I attacked specifically. But, so now I'm going to sleep, right? It's the end of his little pep rally on Bisalis. We haven't talked about real estate once. It's all about this freaking milkshake company with him. So nonsense. Now, at this point, I was journaling. So, honestly, it would make a pretty great video if I read some of those journals. Because I was up until 3 a.m. again that night writing everything down. Because it's such a good story. And I know I'm kind of botching a lot of the details and some really cool things. I'm sure. I haven't looked at this in 5 years or whenever it happened, right? But I've got, like, almost 20 pages in my journal about what happened here. And I used to make a video of my life every week. Because my life was insane, as you could probably tell. I worked 80 to 100 hours a week. You know, I was doing real estate. I had an automobile leasing company at one point. I was leading kiosks around the country. I had Bitcoin mining things going on. I was so close to being a multimillionaire if I just had the thousands of Bitcoins I had at one point. Anyway, my life was insane. I was like just working on business as much as I could. That's why I love being a Twitch streamer. I just sit here to talk to you guys. My life is so much easier now. Not the same salary, but this is better for me. But every week, I used to record a video. By the way, it's all stored on offline computers, so you'll never be able to find these unless I tell you. But I had these videos that would be between 10 minutes and maybe up to 20 minutes. This week was an hour, like with this guy. It was over an hour telling the full story. And I'm sure we're like into a decent portion of it at this point. So, alright, I write down the whole journal. It's been a 24-hour day. Now, he's like, hey, I work out like every day or something, and I work with a personal trainer. We're going to be getting up at 7 in the morning. Do you want to join us, right? So they went to sleep before midnight. I'm up till 3 writing my journal. We're going to do this fitness training at 7 a.m. So we do that. We wake up. By the way, I mean, so this is why I'm not using anybody's names here. Oh, this story. There's so many layers to it, and I could like tell you more than I need to, but I guess I will, right? We're just here hanging out, having a good time. So there are a lot of things. They're just insane. He was vastly overweight with his running his fitness company, telling us about how these milkshakes are the best thing ever. We wake up, he like downs at least 1.5 of them, throwing his peanut butter in there to get healthy. The whole thing, guys. He was a living, breathing embodiment of a hypocrite in every way, right? So we do this workout. Now I'm on 4 hours of sleep, so I'm really, really freaking tired. But again, it's my life. I'm used to it. Hell, I'm on no sleep now, and I'm fine. So this is just how I live. So we go to this fitness thing, and I hate to even bring this up because it seems so petty, but he literally, as he is this huge dude, would lift more than me and like strut around, like, he's like, yeah, all right. And it was like, this guy, it seemed as if he had the psyche of an abused preschooler who was never loved, and that somehow jumped into this man's body. Like, that's the feel I got from all of this insecurity and showboating. It was a nightmare. So all of this is done, right? We get our lunch and stuff. Now I'm here for a second day, and I really want to start, I don't know, something. Oh God. I think I had one video. What video did I have? I had my motivational video. That's it, right? I had my motivational video. It was the first video I ever made on YouTube before I was a gamer, honestly. I didn't game at all. I mean, 80 to 100 hours a week. I didn't play games for a solid block of 3 years. Didn't log into anything. Because I couldn't. I was building my life, so I thought. Little I know, gaming was my life the way it would go, right? And so I had my one motivational video on YouTube. And he had, God, what was it? He was featured on Oprah one time for working in this other big company, right? We've got Company A, that was the real estate company that I bought the program for. I learned real estate, I bought houses from, and I was in the president of that company's book. That guy's cool, that's good. There's real estate company B that this guy was making $30,000 a month from, and he was on Oprah at one point. Now that company had existed for almost a decade and all this stuff, and this Oprah video was, I mean, I don't usually cringe at things, guys. This was cringy. I couldn't do it. He's showing me this as if it's the most impressive thing in the world. It was like 10 years ago, where I don't know how I got on Oprah. Like, he didn't have anything to say then. He didn't have anything to say now. But he was showing me that, and he was like, this adds credibility. All you have to do is say, like, oh yeah, I'm in a video and people want to talk to you. So he was telling people that he was on Oprah, even about Visalis. He's like, yeah, just tell people, show people this video. They'll know who you are. They'll believe you. I'm like, why won't you just tell people about the thing that you're selling? So there's just endless things that bother me. Now we get to day 2. Oh, here we go. Day 2. I know this has been a long story. All of it is leading up to the next couple sentences I'm going to tell you. It's now in the afternoon of the second day. We sit down. I'm like, okay, you need to show me the real estate products that I'm here for. And he looks up at me. This is so insane. He looks up at me as if that question didn't even make sense. Like, that just... it didn't even register. He looks up at me, he's like, oh, I mean the real estate packages aren't here. Right? And he's like stunned that I would even think they're here. I'm like, dude, the real estate packages, show me the packages you're selling that makes you $30,000 a month, which is the reason I flew here. Show me them. He's like, no, we don't actually have them yet. That's what he says. We don't have them yet. He didn't have packages. He didn't make $30,000 a year or a month. He had nothing. He had nothing. He had a house that he was upside down in, and he was convincing waiters that they were going to be the manager of their fitness business, and he was trying to push this MLM to sell milkshakes on him. That's what he had. And I was like, what are you talking about? You don't have the real estate packages that you are making 30 grand a month from. What does that mean? And he's like, well, it's going to be from Company A. That's the thing. We're taking our company with our whole leveling system, and we're going to use, that company, that product. We're going to use that product. You know the product because you bought it. And I stood up, and I extended my hand, and I was like, we need to leave right now as friends, or this is just gonna be an absolute hellstorm. I'm like, that's all I said. Shook his hand, I walked outside to my rental car, right? Just in case, well, guess what happened? That happened. It was just in case of that, and I was ready. And I call up I have a lot of calls to make, right? The first call I have to make is to company A. And I say, hi. You know, I'm talking to the president. I was like, hi, I'm down here. I'm checking stuff out. They don't have a product. Did you know that? And he goes, what? What does that mean? What does that mean they don't have a product? They have all these top salesmen. You flew there to see his product. What do you mean? I'm like, exactly! I did fly down there to see their product. They want to use your product! They want to use your product, everything you made, and they want to put it on their MLM, dude. That's what they want to do. He's like, oh my god. In 30 minutes, we go in to sign joint ownership of the company. We were just about to walk into this meeting right now. You just saved me my whole business. He's like, I cannot, dude, oh my god. Oh my god, I gotta go. I'm standing up right now giving my applause. Thanks, man. And so, literally, this guy would have lost his whole company to this freaking scam company, you guys, that somehow existed for so long. They were later shut down by the government, by the way. I mean, this obviously did it. This is, you know, it's not exactly me, but all of this, I guess, got them shut down. And they were about to walk in and lose everything. So the next person I call is my entrepreneurship teacher. Not mine, because, hey, I'm a college dropout. What do I know? But my dad's best friend teaches at George Mason University and is an entrepreneurship teacher. And he gave me a lot of advice when I was in high school, where he's like, go for a technical degree if you're going to go for college. And this is funny. He used to say that, you know, I'm going to do really well in life. And my dad, because it's his best friend, said, hey, you should know that my son dropped out of college. And he's like, oh, wow, okay. Well, when your son was in college, I said he was going to do well in life. Your son dropped out? He's going to be rich. That's what he said. He's like, he's going to be rich. It was really funny. So anyway, this is the guy I call, and I tell him the situation. I'm like, this was a $1,400 2 days, you know, flying across the country on no notice and missing work. That's tons of money that I'm missing as well. How much money do you have in game right now? Oh, you missed. I just did a big think tank reveal where I showed that I had a Ted Ogre pre-order for a while. So more than you expected. But yeah, guys. So crazy. So I tell him this whole thing, and this guy basically says, he's like, you just saw what a scam looks like face to face. It's like, normally these people just get away with their web of lies on the internet. The person who owned that real estate company was roped into those lies because of the good claims and the rapport. But you wanted to inspect it, you wanted to investigate it, you flew there, dove into it, critically picked apart the system until you found out it was a house of cards. And he's like, good for you, man. But you just saw scams in the face, a con artist, you know, that's face to face, that's how it is. I was like, yeah. And it cost me $1,400. He's like, that is a $1,400 education. It's like, that is less than the price of college and more valuable. And he's right. You know, that was an amazing experience. So I call up the third guy. So, does anybody record this video? This needs to live forever. Now, it's just one of my... I have 25 stories like this, basically. This is one of them. I think there might be a recording of it somewhere. So I call up the third guy. Guess who the third guy is? It's Rodney! I call up Rodney, you guys, because Rodney's in California. Rodney's in California. I'm like, dude, yo, what's up, man? I flew down here, and I was trying to, like, get really rich, but everything failed. It sucked. It was this horrible situation. This guy's an idiot. You want to hang out for, like, 2 days? He's like, hell yeah, man, come over right now. So I drive, like, 4 or 5 hours. He's up in Berkeley University. And what's your business? I don't have a business. I used to run a sales company, I guess, setting up kiosks and malls and stuff like that. And like, he was up there at Berkeley, so I drive up to his house. I haven't seen him in years. Like, yeah, man, what's going on? So I just hang out with him for like another 2 or 3 days, like until my flight happens. And it was a great time. I get to meet all his friends. It was like really, really cool. It was super fun. We had a good time. Like I said, Rodney and I now live in the same city, which is really cool. Because we both grew up in this city, so we just kind of like came back, right? And like I said, we were just hanging out yesterday. So I told him the whole story. You know, we were cracking up, and I actually think I called Pork Chops. You guys might not know Pork Chops. Pork Chops was a guild leader in Exceptional Legion and Exceptional Legion SWTOR. And I believe he actually, I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's leading Exceptional Legion in World of Warcraft. He might have actually gone on to like carry on our mission over there and stuff. But he's like one of my best friends. And I got to hang out with him in person a year after this whole thing down at TwitchCon. But yeah, so Rodney and I hang out, and I tell him the whole story. I call up my girlfriend at the time, tell her the story. She can't believe any of this. She's like, this is the craziest thing. Oh man, that was Kristen. That was years and years ago. Yeah, ex-girlfriend now. So that's it, guys. That's the story. Hung out with Rodney there for the last couple days, and I flew back home and just resumed business as usual. But it starts with, you know, my rare opportunity, getting into a company where I could work super hard at. Like I said, I spent hundreds of hours in the first months, in the first half of a year, not months, outside of the company, learning the techniques to get better at the company, and sales and everything, just business. You know, you have to do it everywhere. And you know, I ended up teaching the people who were my bosses at the time. They worked for me. I then had the rights to like build my own team. We did that. We set the records. I started slugging money away. I got involved with this real estate course, started buying first house, second house, got featured in his real estate book. So he saw me as this go-getter, wanted me to do all these other things, and I turned on every other one. But this was the only one I was really interested in. And question after question after question, I ended up flying down to California to check this guy out. He ended up being a total scumbag, Visalis salesman. And the first company, basically, when I told him about Visalis, that was the other thing. I was like, dude, he's just trying to sell me a Visalis. He was so mad. He was so mad. He's like, we have this guy leading real estate seminars, and he did the same thing. His sales were almost nothing, and he was telling people about Visalis. He's like, he wasted 40 grand of mine from marketing because we were going to try to expand the company over there. So yeah, he was super mad about the Visalis thing. So mad about it. And literally, I called him a half an hour before they were going to sign over the company and merge everything. He would have lost it all, you guys. And then I ended up just hanging out with my one of my best friends for a couple days. So really crazy stuff. That is one of my top 25 stories about my life, saving an international real estate company. And you can see why I really couldn't do that much in game while telling it. That's the whole thing. Good stuff, good stuff. Thanks guys for the follows and hanging out with me. I'm sleep deprived. In 2 hours, we're going to go on me being awake for 24 hours. But what else is new? Rewind back to the Bitcoin. What happened to it? Yeah, I invested thousands and thousands of dollars in graphics card, Bitcoins, things like that. I ended up, they took rags to riches principle to the max. Nice story. Don't forget the other half of the story. My New Jersey house just got foreclosed on, you guys. Like, I'm not this ultra amazing person. Like, there are ups and there are downs. Like, I literally just had a foreclosure. The bank is short selling the house for less than the value. I'm being sued for the difference. I probably have to sell my other properties at a loss to pay for it. Like, I'm just another guy. Like, I work really hard, and sometimes I do great things, and sometimes I mess up big. So, it's, you know, don't think of me as this millionaire or whatever, because I'm, you know, not at all. Alright, what were we talking about before all that? There's something else, hang on. Let me catch that.